Tell him I told you this.
Scooter Braun. Sold my company years ago. I sold the company for over $1 billion.
What was the exact exit price?
1.2.
Have you ever been broke before?
Oh my God, dude. I literally had to borrow, when I was married to my wife with 4 kids, had to borrow $200 from my mom, was $13 million in debt, had no money, and paid it all back.
No, you did not.
Yeah.
Did I get your contact?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah,
cool?
absolutely, yeah.
Don, how you doing, my friend? I'm James. Thanks for coming out to do an interview, man. I really appreciate that, man. What was your main business for the people that don't know?
Right, so for the people that don't know, and of course they won't know because all my business was UK-centric and European-centric, and I built that up from 1986 to 2006, from one man right the way through to 12,000 people, and a sellout of £1.5 billion.
Did you come from a lot of money? Like, were your parents rich?
Well, my dad was a travelling salesman, and my mother was a post-room manager, so I suppose you could say definitely not. I had no money and no inspiration. There's nobody around me to inspire me at all, so no, I had no clue. I always knew I was going to be successful.
Have you ever been broke before?
Yeah, when I was first starting, everyone thought I was killing it, but really every time I'd make money, I'd spend it, to kind of fake it to make it. And I remember ordering Domino's pizza and realizing I did not have enough cash to pay, and I had like this change jar that me and my roommates had by the door, and I had to open it up and pay for Domino's with change. And I never forgot that, because I always say success and failure really live next door to each other, like really live next door. And whenever you think it's gonna fall apart, that's when you gotta go that extra mile so that you find out success is right there.
What year was that you couldn't afford pizza?
Probably 23 years old. I'm 44 now, so 21 years ago.
20 years ago, would you have any idea then that you would end up selling a company for over $1 billion?
You know what's really funny? When I first started, I wanted to, do that. I wanted to achieve that $1 billion. And then I realized making 10 grand was really hard. And I went and spoke to a guy in Atlanta that I really admired, and he gave me a number of 10 million of like, that's what it would take to have his lifestyle. And that was my goal. I was like, I want 10 million. I want to have a beautiful family. I want to have kids. And, my life changed. And I remember when I passed that number, I felt like, what is it all for? It felt empty. And then my pops gave me some really good advice. He said, well, what do you love to do? And I said, I love being with my friends. I love giving away tickets. I love, talking to a random entrepreneur and helping them. I love the adventure of life. And he goes, well, I think money could be a way to make you, burdensome, and you could be tied up by it, or money could be something that sets you free to do all of those things more and more in your life.
So you are now the 44th billionaire that I've interviewed. Are you happy now?
I don't think that's how life works. I think life is ebbs and flows, and there's days where you're really, really happy, and there's days where you're sad. And everybody, whether you have $10 or $1 billion or someone who has $100 billion, everyone's having a human experience. And what I've seen from people that have a lot more money than me, who I've become friends with, they at times can feel very, very empty. And I think you don't need $200 billion to start the work of going inside yourself and figuring out who you are. So if you want a tip, if you want a cheat code for the end game of success, start doing work on yourself now and start seeing who you are and valuing yourself. And that's going to be a lot more important than making any amount of money.